All right, we're back with the second of two college football team preview and prediction videos for today. We did Utah earlier. If you haven't seen that, click back one video and you can watch that one. It was uploaded around lunchtime. And now we've got a second preview and prediction video coming up here this afternoon. This one comes as a request from Jamie W. over on the UNCLELOU Patreon page. Jamie, I really appreciate you supporting the channel over there. You wanted to see this preview. I hope you enjoy it. The Arkansas Woo Pig Suey Razorbacky Dewey thingies. Hey, good morning, it's Uncle Lou here. Yep, that's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, and I'm live for you on LouTube today, so thanks for watching. I really appreciate it also, and to subscribe to this channel if you're not already. I post college football videos almost every single day of the year. Some of them are watchable, all of them are entertaining. Thumbs up this video, we're 9 days away from the start of college football season. Listen, if we're at this point and you're not excited yet for the start of the season, I have to question how diehard of a fan are you really? 9 days away, let's go. It's time to get excited. All right, Arkansas Razorbacks. Okay, Arkansas Razorbacks up today. Like I mentioned, a request from Jamie W. Over on the Patreon page. All the Patreon members have been requesting these teams that I'm doing. As soon as I get done doing their suggestions, then I'm going to get to the suggestions that are everywhere else, like the comment section on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But this comes from Jamie W. Again, thank you, Jamie. If you guys want to check the Patreon page out, just click the link in the description of this video that says support the channel. It'll take you over there. Arkansas. Oh, man. Was there a more boring team to watch last year than Arkansas, other than every Pac-12 team? Probably not. It was hard to watch Arkansas. Listen, I love college football. I'll watch just about any team play. I didn't watch very much Arkansas football last year. It was bad football. It wasn't a whole lot of fun to watch. They didn't have the right pieces and parts to run the Chad Morris offense. The pieces and parts they did have weren't very talented. They were playing a lot of teams in the SEC West that were miles better than them. They were getting blown out by lower classification schools. It was just a bad year all the way around. Sort of expected, though, in my opinion. Year one, Chad Morris, you're completely changing offensive philosophies. Brett Bielema wanted 400-pound offensive linemen and running backs that could gain 3 yards a carry running up the middle 40 times a game. Chad Morris comes in. He wants to spread you out with 19 wide receivers and throw the ball 1,000,000 times a game with misdirection and speed and, players in space and all that kind of thing. And look, the group of players that Bielema had is just not designed or made to run the type of scheme that Chad Morris wants to run. So anybody that thought Arkansas was going to have a ton of success year one, I'm not sure what you were thinking. Can they get better? They were 2-10 last year, 0-8 in the SEC. Of course they can get better. They really can't get much worse, right? I don't think they're going to be a great team this year, but I would expect improvement year two under Chad Morris, right? Very inconsistent last year. At times, not very many times, but a few times, it looked like Arkansas might have known what they were doing last year. What do I mean by that? Well, they lost to LSU by 7. LSU was a pretty good team, a top 10 team, right? They scored 31 on Alabama. There was a lot of teams that didn't manage to score 31 on Alabama, including my Georgia Bulldogs. LSU didn't score a single point on them. So, you got blown out. I think they scored in the 60s, but 31 on Bama. Lost LSU by 7. But then you turn around, and this is what worries me. This is really what worries me. You see this happen sometimes. Teams start off bad and get better as the season goes along. UCLA last year, first-year head coach Chip Kelly starts off rough, improves as the year goes along. Scott Frost at Nebraska starts off rough. I think started off 0-5 or 0-6, won 4 of their last 6 games. Clearly improvement at the end of the season. Arkansas's last 2 games of the season were against Mississippi State and Missouri. 2 average SEC teams last year, okay? You lost to Mississippi State by 46 points. Then these are your last 2 games of the year. When you would expect Arkansas to be at their best if they were going to steadily improve. You lost to Mississippi State by 46 points. You lost to Missouri by 38 points. You got shut out by Missouri 38-0. You only scored 6 against Mississippi State. So you lost by 46 and 38 and only scored a total of 6 points in your last 2 games. That's worrisome. That looks like a team that gave up. You got to fix that quick, fast, and in a hurry. All right, Chad Morris, been there 1 year, 2-10, right? But top 25 recruiting class, that's nothing short of amazing. It's hard to go 2-10 and winless in a conference and come out the other end with a top 25 recruiting class. But somehow Chad Morris managed to do it, which is amazing because this entire roster, like we mentioned, needs to be overhauled. It can't be done in 1 year. It can't be done in 1 year if you had the number 1 recruiting class. It's going to take multiple top 25 classes to get this thing turned around. 1 down, several to go. All right, let's look at the offense. Quarterback situation. You had 2 transfer out. You had 1 transfer in. Where'd he come from? SMU. Why does that matter? Well, that's where Chad Morris came from. So even though the guy comes in from SMU and it's going to be his first year at Arkansas, he knows Chad Morris's system probably better than the 2 guys you had that transferred out. And that's probably why they transferred out. So this guy comes in. What did he have at SMU? He had, well, first of all, what's his name? Ben Hicks, I think is his name. 9,000 yards, 71 touchdowns, 34 interceptions in, I think, 3 seasons as the starter at SMU. So a ton of experience and a ton of experience in Chad Morris's system. This will be an upgrade over what you saw last year, if for no other reason than that this guy knows how to run the offense. He may not be elite, and the numbers tell me he's not. He may not be elite. I'm not suggesting he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC or anything like that, but at least he knows the Chad Morris system. That's an improvement over what you had last year, okay? So I like what you're doing at quarterback for this year versus what you did last year there, all right? You also have Nick Starkel, who comes in, I think, from Texas A&M. Now, this is interesting here. Could he get the start? Maybe. We'll see. I think it's going to be, it's probably going to be Ben Hicks, but it could be Starkel. We'll see. There is no point spending a bunch of time on that speculation at this point. Plus, it's Arkansas. There's no point spending much time on anything. Okay, running back, Devwah Whaley. I like this guy. This is a guy that Georgia had their eye on for a while. I think he's pretty good. We got Rakeem Boyd back there too, Chase Hayden. So you have some options at running back. We'll, I tend to think Whaley's probably the best. Rakeem Boyd has probably done the most so far. We'll see. Wide receiver. Love this. You guys know I love this here. Freshman you signed last year, 6'5". That's all I need to know. Sign me up. I love these big, tall wide receivers, probably because Georgia hasn't had any in a long time. And I've seen a lot of teams, Texas A&M, they've got them. Ole Miss beat the hell out of us 1 year with a bunch of 6'6" wide receivers. Anyway, he'll probably play. One of the best recruits you had from the last class, 6'5", freshman wide receiver. I didn't even write his name down, did I? What's his name? Trey something or another? Doesn't matter. You got Dean Stewart, slot receiver. What's his guy's name? I can't read my own writing. Anyway, so you got some returning experience at the wide receiver position. This freshman, though, honestly may be the most talented one you have. We'll see how quickly he can pick up the scheme and the system, that kind of thing. Tight end, Cheyenne O'Grady, great hands. One of the best pass-catching tight ends in the SEC. The problem is below average blocker. He's got to get a lot better at blocking. I'm not too keen on the whole wide receiver blocking thing, and I think some coaches put too much emphasis on that. But with a tight end, you got to be able to block. He's got to get better there. Offensive line, only 2 starters return. Could be good, could be bad. Got a bunch of oversized linemen for what Chad Kelly wants to do. 3 of them are gone. Only 2 of them come back, but still, that means 3 new starters on the offensive line. Going to be a learning curve there. Could be rough first couple of weeks for Arkansas with basically a brand new offensive line. You had lots of injuries there last year. We'll see, but it's going to have to play a whole lot better. Your offensive line is, if your team as a whole is looking to improve all that much in 2019. All right, over on the defensive side, defensive coordinator John Chavis. This guy's been around forever at a bunch of different schools. I actually like him. He's going to get the most out of whatever talent is available, I think, over on the defensive side of the ball. Let's take a look at that talent. Defensive line, you got seniors Agum, whatever his name is, and Smith. They're okay. They're experienced. They're who you have. So that's what you're going to get. You need help on the edge, though, on the outside. Defensive end outside linebacker. Not very good at rushing a passer last year. I mean, you got some guys there on the outside. It's Gerald, Richardson, Bell. but they got to get a whole lot better. I mean, it's just sort of a theme. Again, I'm not here to knock Arkansas. I mean, they know, their fans know, they know themselves. They're one of the worst teams. I'm not here to knock them, but when you go 2-10, 0-8 in the SEC, shouldn't be a surprise that when you see somebody do a preview for the following year that they happen to mention you need improvement in a lot of areas. Linebacker or edge rusher is one of those areas. Now, at the linebacker position, your middle linebacker, Harris, he may be the best player on your team, honestly. He was third in the SEC last year in tackles at 118. He's back, so you're good to go there. Now, what else do you have? Poole and Henry. I mean, they're starter material, but that's about it. There is nothing that's going to jump out or stand out about those two. They're not going to set any records. They're not going to make any all-SEC teams or anything like that. But again, that's who you have. And then your DBs, of course, thin at safety. Curl's got a little bit of experience. Your cornerbacks, McClellan and McClure's at the other one. Some young guys. I mean, listen, again, I could probably say the same thing about every position group, both offensively and defensively. You've got a few guys at every position group that has some talent. They all need to play a whole lot better. They all need to get, especially the offensive guys, need to get a much better grasp of the system and the scheme and what it is that Chad Morris is trying to do. Even if all of that happens, though, you just don't have the talent to compete within the SEC right now. Again, that can change. You had a top 25 class. You're going to have to get a couple more, I think, if you're going to want to really compete for anything within the SEC. And by anything, I mean even getting to 8 or 9 wins, okay? Let's put the schedule up on the screen and see how much improvement we can expect from Arkansas in year 2 under Chad Morris. Again, 2-10 last year, 0-8 in the SEC. Can they win an SEC game this year? All right, you start off with a non-con game at home, Portland State. I'm going to give you a win there now. And these aren't gimmies. You lost plenty of non-con games last year. I mean, does Colorado State and North Texas ring a bell? I mean, North Texas blew you out. It was one of the most embarrassing SEC losses of all time. Not just because you lost, but because you just got throttled. So, but I'm giving you a win against Portland State. But Arkansas cannot sleep on anybody. Arkansas has got to come ready to play every single week or they're going to lose. I'd give you the win against Portland State. Week 2, your first SEC game, and it's on the road at Ole Miss. Ole Miss, not a very good team. They're better than Arkansas. You got to play them there. I think you lose. You're 0-1 in the SEC. Not looking good. Colorado State, I'm going to give you a win. You lost to them last year. I think you beat them this year. They're not a good team. Listen, Colorado State, I think, won 3 games last year, but one of them was against you. Turn that around. I'm an SEC homer. It's hard to defend you at this point, Arky fan. I'm giving you a win. San Jose State, different verse, same as the first. I'm giving you a win. Please win these games. Listen, I go out on a limb week in and week out on here. Not just for you, but for all these SEC teams in these non-con games. Please beat Portland State, Colorado State, and San Jose State. Texas A&M at a neutral site, loss. Doesn't matter. Neutral site, the moon, you're not winning. Bye week at Kentucky, loss. I mean, people are, is Kentucky going to win 10 games? I don't know. Probably not. I know Benny Snell and Josh Allen are gone, and those are 2 of the best players they've had since Michael Jackson was black. I know. I just don't think Kentucky is going to fall off the map as much as other people think. And you got to play them there. I think Kentucky beats you. Auburn, a dumpster fire. You play them in the middle of the season. Gus will pretty much be in a winner you're fired situation by this point in the season, in my opinion. I did Auburn preview, I think, yesterday. Not looking good there on the plains for the Barner. But they'll beat you. Gus will extend his job by at least a week by beating you. Unfortunately, it's a home game for Auburn. You'll lose. At Alabama. Mississippi State at home. Win! I think you beat Mississippi State. This is going to be the game that Arkansas wins, and people look around and go, how the hell did that happen? Sort of like when Auburn lost to Tennessee. Yes, that Tennessee. I think you beat Mississippi State. The monkey is off your back. You got an SEC win. Now thumbs up the video and tell me what a genius I am. Yep, Western Kentucky. Win! Non-con game. Let's go. Undefeated in the non-con? Yes, sir. Yeah, bye week. At LSU, home against Missouri. L and L. 5-7 though. So you improve by 3 games according to Uncle Lou. You go from 2 wins to 5, and you even win a game in the SEC, going 1-7 instead of 0-8. Step in the right direction. You know what? So listen, you can be the team next offseason after this year, right? The offseason heading into 2020. Arkansas can be just like Tennessee fan every offseason since 2008. You can talk about your 5 wins and how excited you are about them and what that means for your future. That's what you can do. This is a great preview. Have a good morning.